Welcome to another episode of the New Labor Movement Show. I am one of your hosts, Troy.
I'm the other host, Ray, and I have a funny feeling that last week we were buddy-buddy. So usually this means this week we're probably going to be on opposite sides of the fence. I have a funny feeling.
All right, so this show is not Friday, but let's go Freestyle Friday.
Right,
freestyle today. Just freestyle today.
Right, you know what you and I thought to ourselves, we were going to do this, we're going to do that, and right now we just said, you know what, let's just see what happens, and I guess we'll find out.
All right, so here we go.
Here we go. That he made that he had no hand in. I don't know. Listen, I don't even know. We don't even know what the fix is to do. Like, can you can't go back up, and I don't know if you can dig all this stuff up and winterize it. So you're probably gonna have to now put generate. You're probably gonna have to. There's probably some fix somewhere. And listen,
I would think they're gonna do something now.
Listen, and as we all know, I'm sure I'll say this much, and I have no idea. You know, you hear reports here, there, and everywhere, and I think he relied on the commission. The commission supposedly told him, like, "Hey, there's a chance this could happen," and he probably was like, let's be realistic. You realize that by the time Texas has another plan like this, our grandkids will be alive by the time Texas gets another, 6 inches of snow in Houston.
You hope so.
We all hope so.
Because 2011 was the last time that it was that's why they made the recommendation. 2011 wasn't that long ago.
2011, I think it got down to 40s, and they were like, hey, if this goes down a little lower, this could be a problem. And listen, Perry, I mean, to me, the main culprit is Perry, because they gave the report, they handed the report to Perry and said, listen, do this. And I think they all said, the odds of this happening are slim. And then, I think no one, unfortunately, in politics, because everyone has money promised to everywhere else. I mean, because I think it's funny that we're going after the governor, but let's be realistic. There's room to go around. I guarantee there's no one in that Texas House or House Senate saying, hey, let's pass a bill to fix our infrastructure. And listen, the Republican Party in Texas looks bad because of this, 100%, because they've been in control of that for a long time. And you don't hear anyone in the Texas Congress or the Texas Senate saying, hey, remember when I put that bill up that we should have fixed infrastructure? Because I don't think it ever happened. So Texas Republicans look real bad. And how the only way they come out of this, because Democrats in Texas are really starting to put a move on things. They need to come up with the fix. Because the American people, we hate. I think Cuomo's in big trouble. Do you?
No, I don't think so.
You think he's going to be able to run for a 4th term?
Absolutely, he's going to run. Yeah.
But do you think he'll be successful? So you don't think this leaves a mark on him at all?
It leaves a mark on him, definitely. But how much of a mark, I don't know.
Oh, I always say this. People always ask me, like, as of right now, I would not personally vote for Donald Trump again, because it had nothing to do with his policies. I personally didn't like the way he acted. He took the election stuff so far that he hurt, I believe, because of what he said with the election, he hurt the Senate, the Georgia Senate seats, and he cost the Republicans the Senate. And anytime you put yourself before that, I can't deal with that.
He was putting himself before the party. You mean put himself before the party? Has he been putting himself before the party, before the country from the very beginning?
There's a time you have to realize there's a bigger picture, and the bigger picture would have been, hey, I need at least one of those Senate seats, and he didn't do that.
But that's not what he's about, though.
Listen, and which is why I would have a hard time voting for him again. If you asked me today, I would say no. But now let's say you can't say no for never. I can never bring myself to vote for her.
Just because it's part of your mentality, you've been already indoctrinated to believe a certain way. It has no standing in the policy or anything like that.
No, 100%. For her, I could care less about her personality. I don't really. I think
you don't care about personality. I think it's already indoctrinated in like. No. I dipped into a couple of those conservative sites to see the echo chamber.
No.
And it's just like
No. Listen, I could vote. There are certain people I could vote for. Like, believe it or not, you know who's. I would 100%. I could vote for. Way things are now, I could probably vote for Tulsi Gabbard, for sure.
Okay.
And Tulsi Gabbard is pretty liberal on a lot of things that I don't agree with, but she has enough that I could agree with. And because, first of all, I know that I could vote for her. First of all, I know she's a danger to the Democratic Party, but not the far left Democrat Party, this like the Chuck Schumer end of it and the Hillary Clinton, because the minute Tulsi Gabbard started gaining momentum, they were like, oh, she's a Russian agent. And the minute they said that, I was like this. Who else is another? Believe it or not, you know who else I could have, by the way, you know who else there've been plenty of Democrats over these I could have. You know who I would have totally voted for? And I just, for some reason, there was something, I liked his personality and I really liked his policies. And then unfortunately, he blew himself up like 3 different times. I could have voted for Anthony Weiner.
I did like Anthony Weiner.
Unfortunately, the guy had a hiccup that he just couldn't get over. What was he? Something dangerous? Johnny Dangerous or something like that? I mean, even after that, I still could have voted for him because I thought to myself, you know what? Up until the last time, the other 2 times, I see for me, like that's between him and his wife. I don't give a about that. Right. Like if you're my shop steward. Do I care what you do in your personal life as long as when it comes to shop stewarding, you do the best you can? No. Right. If you go home and yell at your kids, that's between you and your kids. It has nothing to do with saving me as a shop steward. But that last time we got caught doing it like a 14 or 15-year-old, I was like,
yeah. Like again.
Like, are you so addicted to this you can't even be a little discreet? I mean, right?
I'm gonna ask you a question. You say I can't stand those policies. Can you explain to me the AOC Bernie Sanders line policies that make it where you're unable to vote for them?
If you want to know the truth, it's because of their unwillingness to even look at nuclear energy. Leads me to believe that they're not really that they're not serious about actual climate change in regards to fossil fuels. To me, it's about it's about power, because there's no evidence anywhere that you could legitimately replace renewable energy and run a grid anywhere in the world. Right
so
now,
that is your non-starter. That is where you don't move on nuclear energy.
That's one of them. There's a couple of them other than that. I believe that I am not for Bernie Sanders and for her. One of the things I cannot get over, it'd be very hard for me to vote for, is because they want they want what's the role? But with AOC, her whole immigration policy is it's disgusting.
What is that? What is her immigration policy?
She's open borders, make everyone here a citizen.
See, this is the part where you start to lose me when you just start quoting stuff that's not true. That's the part where you be like, I was like, you don't really have a policy, a topic that you don't agree with. What you do is look at her image and her persona, and you start making stuff up to add to it to say why you don't like her.
She backed Castro and saying that she did not want.
When did she say she's for open borders?
Yes.
When?
She's smart. She doesn't say open borders, but when you say this,
oh, she's inferring it in your mind.
Let me ask you this: but when you say that you want to decriminalize illegal crossings, right? When you say that you want illegal aliens to be able to qualify for government health care, when you say that you want illegal aliens to get checks the same as we do from the government, when you say that you don't care about that everyone from DACA, irregardless of criminal history, should stay, see what you're doing is you're not saying open borders, but you're saying everything but open borders. It's like saying I'm gonna give you an answer that I'm gonna think of an answer in my head between 0 and 10, but don't say 0 to 9. I'm not saying 10, but I'm saying everything else that makes you think that.
Yeah, but the thing is, some of the statements you just said, and I know one of them is false, So I'm assuming that a couple of the other ones could be false as well. And that's the thing. You take pieces and make them up, insert them in there,
What I say
add them
false.
as a staple, like as if you heard her say them, and then
Of course,
take it and
I
run
could
with it.
probably pull them up. I could probably pull up a tweet of hers.
I would like to see that and then verify that. Because as far as you said with the thing with decriminalizing border crossings,
Correct.
it was not to decriminalize border crossings as saying that people coming into our country shouldn't have a penalty. The reason that the border crossings would look to be decriminalized was because in the Trump administration, he took any border crossing and added a much more harsh and cruel treatment to the people that had the border crossings. People that could normally cross and go and file for legal asylum, he closed those points of entry and forced them to try to come in through an illegal way, and thereby trying to subvert the way they could apply for asylum. At that point in time, they looked to decriminalize the border crossings to make it not a severe penalty in a reaction to try to stop him from demonizing the people that were coming across. It has nothing to do with saying, I want open borders. So there is context to when you say.
Let me ask you this: why would you be for a policy that when 98% of the people who, first of all, it's a huge loophole in the sense that, in other words, they know, people like AOC and Julian Castro all know that I can only hold people for 20 days if they show up with a kid. Doesn't have to be their kid, just a kid. So then what do? You give them a court date, they disappear into the country. 95% of the people who you give a court date don't show up. Of the 5% who do come and show up and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to do this the right way, 98% of those people don't qualify for asylum because you cannot be asylum for economic reasons. You have to be an asylum. You have to be you should probably look it up, and you should realize that, and that's not the United States. That's the standard set forth by the UN. You have to qualify for asylum. You have to be persecuted for your sex, race, ethnicity, political views, religious views, sexual orientation. If you can't get a job and you're scared of violence in your country, that does not qualify you to seek asylum. Okay. That's what they call an economic refugee, and that does not qualify as a refugee. You don't gain status in this country for that.
That's fine, but why? If that's the case, then you could easily bring them in, let them apply for asylum like they do, process them, let them know they don't qualify, and send them back. Why close the borders and shut off the path that they have? They have the path they have to legally attempt to file for asylum.
Right now, the United States is about over 1 million cases behind, and this is where Congress gets into it.
Wait, just before you jump, just answer the question. Why cut off the path? If whatever it is, whatever they're gonna process, if it's not, they don't qualify, why cut off the path that they have to apply for that asylum?
Because every other person in the world, like if you think about this, if you come from any other country except someplace you can walk here, when you apply for asylum, you apply for it at your consulate in your country. Just because we're connected by a landmass, they want to walk up here.
But legally they have a path to do that, to fight for asylum. Why go ahead and preemptively cut off the path they have to legally apply for asylum?
Because I believe that most of them realize that they're going to come here, bring a family unit, get a future court date, and then disappear into the country.
That's not answering the question, Ray. Listen, just simple. Why cut off the path they have to legally apply for asylum?
Why?
Yes.
Because we're so backed up. And just here's the best.
Because we're so backed up. So this is what I'm trying to get at. The point is, instead of we
owe them something. We owe them nothing.
It's nothing. Say, and this is the thing. You demonize them and say we don't owe you, so we don't owe you, so we don't have to follow our own laws and rules we put in place. I could just decide that I don't like you coming in, and I'm going to change the rules so you can't get in. If they wanted to change it where they couldn't legally go past because that's a land mass and they could walk from there, then go to a process, pass legislation, get it passed, get people to agree with it, so you could change the law. Yes, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
So Trump said, you know what? A lot of the people who come in through the way you just described come here and commit crimes against Americans. And every single crime that those persons commit, whether it be one, whether it be 100, whether it be 1,000, whether it be 1,000,000, every single one of them is preventable because they're not supposed to be here.
Okay, what's the point?
My point is that I think that because you let these people come for asylum and you let them in the country, you really don't know their background because you're actually technically maybe doing the background check. They go into the country and commit crimes against Americans. When you think that you, as the president or as a Congress or as anyone, that you should try and protect the rights of Americans instead of the rights of people coming here to try to claim asylum, who you probably know they have a 98% chance that they're not going to qualify for it anyway because where they're coming from, their country of origin.
What legislation did he put in place to try to make that a standard in? What did he do?
The stay in Mexico policy that you can come here, you can apply, but you have to stay in Mexico.
So that stops you now from being able to apply for asylum?
No, you can apply
exactly.
for it.
This is the whole point. Instead of going through the process to do it properly and put legislation in place to stop it, he stopped a legal process from taking place where they come across. Now you can just say, oh, because you believe that it's right and they shouldn't be able to come across, you feel it's okay because he can do whatever he wants to do. But another president might come in and do what they feel to do, and then you will feel it's wrong. So the point is, if you have rules and laws in place, you follow those rules and laws, and you don't just get to decide what the F you want to do and do it.
Well, guess what? The beauty is he wrote an executive order, which he's allowed to do. And he said, stay in Mexico because I'm trying to prevent American citizens from being victims of crime. And I believe him. And Joe Biden somehow says, you know what? I want to let these people in. So now these people are going to come in. And then we'll see. We'll see whose policy is better.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see what happened for... What's happened for all the entire history of the country up to now, exactly the same. We'll see if it stays exactly the same. Well, I don't know what you think that if what Trump did, that his policy was so great. He didn't do anything to do any type of mass. I think I would like to know the statistics. Who deported or had more immigrants leaving the country under the administration? Was it Obama administration or was it Trump administration?
If you want to go strictly by the numbers, but they fudge the numbers, then yes, the Obama, because
see what I think people like, they don't care about how many people left or whatever. They love the fact of how he demonized them and he hurt them and he stuck it in them and he called them all these names. That's what people love. They love the hate that was added to it.
No, I like protecting American citizens.
Yeah, okay.
I like protecting American citizens. Okay. I can't speak for other people, but I speak for Ray Reyes.
Okay.
I speak for Ray Reyes. Also, the Obama...
But wait, this is funny, though, because this went from nuclear power and to open borders, because that was a falsehood. That's why I said that. No, that open borders thing was false.
If you support a policy that does not, she's in favor of sanctuary cities, where, in other words, if ICE wants to come and arrest people who are criminals in this country and who are supposed to be deported, she is against legislation.
Bring up where she said that she's against deporting legal aliens here that committed crimes.
Why? Because she wants to.
No, I said bring up where she said either one of them says I'm against deporting illegal aliens.
From AOC saying that she wants to defund ICE.
What does that? Okay, what does that mean?
ICE is the people who enforce the immigration laws and arrest people and leave them out of the country.
And what she want to do? What she want to do with defund them? Why? It always is a piece of context behind it too. Go ahead. Huh?
Because she doesn't want them to remove immigrants.
She doesn't want to. So she said that. She says, I want to get rid of ICE because I don't want them to remove immigrants.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Oh no. You're. She said they were racist because they mostly removed Hispanics and people of color.
Okay, so here's the context behind that. The reason they wanted to get rid of ICE because during the same administration, the harsh and unjust treatment they were doing to people coming across applying for asylum legally, when people felt that it wasn't right and they wanted to change and do what they want with it, ICE was the tool that they were using. So it's not that ICE wasn't needed, or we didn't need ICE to protect the borders. It's that the things that ICE were doing needed to be totally revamped. So let's defund ICE and revamp it and put it back in. I didn't remember her saying anything about we don't need any more border security. We don't need any more border control. But ICE, in the way that they were operating under administration, was a problem, and I'm gonna address it.
Wow. removing criminals is a problem?
You say that, but you can't tell me where they said that we shouldn't remove criminals. But this is just what you assume in your head, and you take it and lock it in, and that's her status from a woman.
If your brain only works on the fact that they have to actually come out and say, I don't want immigrants to ever leave this country, and then I will believe them. But you have more than enough other data points that, well, I'm gonna not fund the people that remove them. I'm gonna write legislation that pretty much handcuffs the people who remove them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the states they come into don't help the people who want to remove them. And then, you know what? I'm going to kind of decriminalize some of the stuff that they do. Yes, they're not saying they want immigrants to stay here, but they're doing everything in their humanly possible to make sure that it's harder to remove people for that.
It's funny how you apply that logic on that side, because I remember several times where there have been several steps, inference, things said that apply to the way that Donald Trump referred or did to things or people, and you said, can you prove it legally? Did he get committed for a crime? So if that wasn't the case for them, but now because they didn't, they have to say it now. Not all their inferences don't count for him, but it counts for them.
No, listen.
Yeah.
If you want people, if you want people to be removed, if you don't want people to be removed from this country, the easiest way to do that is stop paying the people who remove people from this country.
And that way, don't go to that side, because if that's the case, the things that they put in this administration incentivize people to be able to harbor people and have them working here literally. He didn't take any penalties on the corporations that were hiring people, because some of them were the people that he had hired.
Listen, full disclosure, I agree. Trust me, Donald Trump was the best person at immigration. He was not perfect in immigration, because think about it. You say we have Democrats who are supposed to be pro-union, yet there's not one Democrat in this state, city, or this country who's saying we should use E-Verify. Or then, first of all, I don't even see the bill by anyone, that either party, that says, you know what, why don't we punish the people who hire these people? See, we
talked about that because none of them want them out. They want that cheap labor.
I agree. I want to whack people on both ends. I want to de-incentivize people from coming here by making it a harsh crime to come here. But I also want to make sure that the people who incentivize them also are punished with harsh penalties. I want to whack both people. I don't want to whack one or the other.
But the people that you just named, you associate them with what you believe that they are for, as opposed to what they do or say. And that immigration that you're putting for is not one of the things, but it doesn't matter, because no matter what, you won't change your mind. You won't listen to any kind of.
I've always complimented. I've even gone on Facebook. If you look back, I've even complimented AOC. Her pro-union stances.
I understand that. You cannot not say that the good stuff she did isn't good, but you also add stuff onto it that is not part of her platform.
I think she's very pro-union.
Yes, and you love that. I understand that. You cannot not say that, because she is. But what you also do is add stuff onto her that is not.
Let me ask you, in his whole presidency, did Donald Trump do anything that you liked? Can you name one thing Donald Trump did that you liked?
I did like his, and I would say this is probably more for his demeanor. Some of the stuff that he did internationally, like having other countries get more involved in their payment and involvement in, like
you're talking about NATO.
Yes. And his brashness of bringing it to them out in the open and trying to more or less put them on the spot with it. That was good.
Yeah.
Correct. So that the brashness of
we all got that guy, but we were young. He used to hang out, right? You used to all go to the diner. I only got $2, man. You have to look at it. You got more money in your pocket. You gotta give your eggs, man. Or we're all giving $1 for a tip. You got that one guy who gives you exactly like $5. Like, I don't have the tip, man. I ain't got a tip. We all got that friend, don't we? I guess we should start grading the current president. Is there anything that the current president is doing right now? I mean, his administration is young. I'll say this. I went on Facebook and I said that I thought it was great that I think I read somewhere that he's increased the daily doses of of vaccines by like 28% since
Right.
he's been, and I think that's a good thing. I think it would be, my issue with Biden is, first of all, I think I have a, like I said, what it is? It's always hard when you have, because as a union guy, when he does something good for a union, he has, he wants to, buy American. He's trying to get executive orders out there to push things in that direction. And I am thankful for that. But, sometimes, it's like he helps you with this hand, and then he does so many things that you realize basically undermine everything else he's doing there. I
know it's hard when you have to try to separate anybody that has a D next to the name. It's hard to try to.
No, it's not. Listen, I go by. I'm not. Listen, I go by.
No, don't say it. Don't say it, because I call bullshit.
I don't want anyone too extreme on any side. In other words, and while probably politically, if you put like marks where I was, there's a lot of things I am very far right on. I'm very conservative about, but I'm not like conservative on social issues. I'm very like, most social issues, I'm very like in the middle. I'm very hawkish on immigration. I'm very hawkish on personal responsibility. I'm not for a big welfare state. I'm for a hand up, not a handout. That being said, I do realize that there are certain Democrats out there that, they are looking up. Listen, there are certain Republicans who would love to whack Social Security, and I don't think you could find a Democrat who would whack Social Security. So, I respect that about it. I do think that Democrats pander to too many niche groups that, it's all fluff that doesn't mean anything. And now you have to, have this standard where you can't, you have to now, protect people who,
protecting the damn people. What the hell is wrong with them?
Right, we have to protect the reproductive rights of transgender women. You look, you say, I don't even think that's a thing. But yet you have to say it. So it's like, there's those things. I'm always against any policy that eliminates choice. I'm generally for any policy that gives more choice, and I don't care who gives it to me. I think this country would be much better served if we had more parties. Like, I don't want to be like England, because
I don't need more parties. I just need people to be responsibility forget the parties. I just need people to take responsibility for the actions that the people take in office as it is right now. You could look at the things they've done and make a decision on the decision, make your choices on the decisions they've made, and your answer lies there. Personal responsibility for holding people accountable for what they have or haven't done.
I agree on that.
All right, so this has been another episode of the New Labor Movement Show. I am one of your hosts, Troy.
I'm still Ray.
And we are signing off.